सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। We started with this Vishnu Sahasranama last month. We saw through the introduction of it and the first two shlokas of Vishnu Sahasranama. Vishwam Vishnurvashatkaro Bhuta Bhavya Bhavat Prabhu Bhutakrit Bhuta Vridbhavo Bhutatma Bhuta Bhavanaha. Don't increase it. Bhutatma Paramatma cha Muktanam Paramagatihi. Reduce it a little more. Avyayaf Purusas Sakshi Kshetrajnokshara Evacha. So far we have seen these two shlokas. As Gurudev puts it very beautifully, these 1000 names are called the 1000 methods to the transcendental. 1000 methods to meditate onto the transcendental. So when these 1000 names are chanted, it is not to rush through these 1000 names of the Lord, but to understand each word, its meaning, and the depth behind each one of these words. The Pradhana Vakta, or the main speaker here, is our Bhishma Maharaj, and the questions were asked by Yudhishthira. Thus they were speaking is captured by Vyasaji, and it was written by his assistant, Lord Ganesha. So now we proceed further with the next shloka to understand the different beautiful names of the Lord. Yogo Yogavidam Neta. Repeat after me. Yogo Yogavidam Neta. Yogo Yogavidam Neta. Pradhana Purusheshwaraha. Pradhana Purusheshwaraha. Narasimhavapushriman. Keshavah Purushottamah. Yogo Yogavidam Neta Pradhana Purusheshwaraha Narasimhavapushriman Keshavah Purushottamah. Yogo Yogavidam Neta. One of the names of the Lord is Yogaha. Yogaha, as in Bhagavad Gita, it very beautifully suggests. In the second chapter, the definition of yoga is given. It reveals a very beautiful aspect. It talks about Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. That one who is in the constant equipoise. is known to be in yoga. This equipoise of ours is constantly either disturbed or we get distracted. Is it even possible for us to have this constant equipoise, wherein, in spite of the situations around us, to maintain that equipoise? The Lord, He has got various responsibilities. What are the responsibilities? Srishti Karta, as the creator, as the sustainer, and as to bring in a change in this universe by remodeling the entire universe, or the destruction aspect of it. Now, when we maintain one house, one cubicle probably, if you're working, and that seems to be overwhelming, that it can get to our nerves, that it can unnerve us at any time. A little up and down and we feel completely devastated. And the explanation or the name given for the Lord, as He is recognized, He is called Yoga. Yoga meaning, in spite of creation, in spite of sustenance, in spite of bringing in change in this universe, He is in constant yoga, constant equipoise. Now one may ask, there are so many things in this world which do not seem to be agitated or disturbed or distracted by the presence of something or absence of something, and we call them as a vegetative state, like this lectern that is here. It doesn't get impacted by the words that I speak. It doesn't get impacted by anybody's presence in front of it or the absence of them. So can we say that this is an equipoise? Somebody in a vegetative state, can we call them in an equipoise? Equipoise is that stage which is entirely different from the vegetative state or a inert stage. Like somebody introduced their child. She opened the door and the child was sleeping. Swamiji, meet my angel only when he is sleeping. Because the moment he wakes up, he is a mini tornado. The entire house is repaired, ripped apart. Everything is on the floor. But he is an angel as long as he is sleeping. He is in balance and everything around him is in balance as long as he is asleep. Can we call that as an equipoise? Getting to equipoise, as Adi Shankaracharya ji puts it very beautifully here, he says, Jnanendriyani sarvani nigrihya manasa saha ekatva bhavana yogaha. Jnanendriyani sarvani nigrihya manasa saha. We have 5 organs of perception, 5 organs of knowledge: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and the skin, through which we see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. These 5 are the Jnanendriyas. Jnanendriyani sarvani. All these 5 organs of perception, manasa saha nigrihya. Manasa saha, with the mind having absolute control and stability on these 5 organs of perception. Because the distractions come through these 5 inputs. As I often refer to these organs of perception and action as the input and output devices to the central processing unit, the CPU. The 5 organs of perception are the ones which bring the information, the data from outside world. And the organs of action, after having processed the data, we run into the world and do various things, interact with them. So when the information comes inside, is it being processed or is it creating agitations and distractions? How are we handling that processing? Ideally, it would be good if we are in an environment wherein we are not distracted by anything to see, anything to hear, anything to smell, taste, touch. Ideally, it would be great. But then you are not leading a life. You are in an isolated, quarantined spot wherein you have absolutely nothing to interact with. To be in such equipoise is a danger, because you have been withdrawn from the environment forcefully. The moment you are again reintroduced to the environment, you just pounce on that environment. You have not had an experience with the world. It happens. Say you were working on a project, or you are working on something very intense that you did not bother about anything, sleep, food, entertainment. After that project is done, what do we say? I need a break, so that I can go out and then indulge in all those things which I had been restricted to indulge in. And that's what we do in vacations, right? Go ballistic. So when you withdraw from the world in force, by compelled to withdraw, the moment that compelling force is removed, we pounce back into the world. But here, the balance which is talked about is not in the absence of the world, but it is in spite of the world around us. There may be sounds that distract, but to be not distracted by that sound. There may be a lot of things to see, but to stay focused. See, that was the test that Arjuna was given. Rather, all the Pandavas and Kauravas and the other great warriors who were enrolled in Drona's school. The first time archery was to be introduced, he put a small test. We know that story. He said, there is that bird that I have put on a device which looked like a bird. And he put it on the branch. And he said, please shoot the eye of that bird. So everybody comes forward, steps forward, and he says, take an aim. So everybody takes an aim, and he asks before they shoot, what do you see? So the first one says that I see the beautiful sky, I see the beautiful green forest, I see the tree in the forefront of that forest, I see the bird also. He starts describing the entire nature in front of him. He says, you may step down. He calls the next one. And it's as though like a competition. Rest of them start describing it with furthermore details about the entire nature that they see. Almost like they have become instant poets. In a poetic way, they are describing the entire nature. It was only Arjuna, when he stepped in and when he was asked, what do you see? He said, I see the eye of the bird. What else do you see? He said, I see nothing else. Are you sure you see nothing else? He says, I am very positive. I see only the eye of the bird. He said, then you may shoot. Though there were everything around him, all that he focused on was on the target, without being distracted by anything around. That focus when we have through 5 organs of perception and action. That balance that you can maintain, one can maintain through the interactions. Wherever the eye or the ear or whatever has to be applied, we focus on it to maintain that balance within. That balance is called yoga. And Paramatma is always in that yoga, always in that perfect balance. In spite of the world, he is not distracted or disturbed. But yet he supports the entire world of being and things. Yoga. Yoga Viduhu. Yoga Viduhu. The one who is not just being in that balance, but also knows the method to be in that balance. And the one who gives to the entire humanity through the scriptures, through the Vedas, as to how to reach to that balance. So in net result, what is Veda? A technique, a book, which talks about how to maintain that balance, how to maintain that. Many people, when they talk about, they say, Swamiji, talk about, when I go to the universities and other places, I don't suddenly start speaking on Bhagavad Gita or Vishnu Sahasranamam. So the topic that they would require is, art of focus or stress-free life. And the funny thing is, those who organize the seminar on stress-free life, until the program is over, they are under heavy stress. Just to see that the program is successfully launched and continued. So the first thing I tell them is that it's a myth to say that there is something called stress-free life. There is only one condition that there will be stress-free: when you quit living in this body. When you leave this body, the rest of them around you are in stress. You are no more there. Hence, therefore, there is no stress. There is nothing called stress-free life. Yes, what can be taught is stress management, but not being free from stress. In fact, the entire environment lives in stress, but that optimal stress wherein there is the positive productivity in it. Let's take a couple of examples. Human body, does it have any pressures? It has. It is called the high blood pressure and the low blood pressure. There is a blood pressure. What will happen if the blood doesn't have any pressure? It will be a dead carcass. The blood has to be in certain pressure. What is the optimal pressure that it has to be in? 120/80. An average. It again varies according to the height, according to the age, according to the body mass index and various other factors. But on average, the optimum level is 120/80. What happens when it goes a little up? It's called hypertension. It's not a balanced environment. What happens if it goes low? So you start getting, your head spins, you feel something's, in your stomach, you don't feel normal. Everything has to be in that balance. It is not free from stress, but within that stress to maintain that balance. I'm sure you have driven in your car and come here. The tires have certain pressure. What do they call it? DPSI? PSI. What does PSI stand for? Pounds per square inch. Usually on average, how much is it? 32 to 36 depending on the weight of the vehicle. What happens if your vehicle is supposed to be in 32 and you have pumped in 34 or 35? As you drive through the roads, actually being in Texas, we have been spoiled. Every neighborhood has got paved roads and almost 3-4 lanes even in a local neighborhood. You go beyond this state, first off is that the state highways or the national highways merge into one lane on either side, and sometimes they are not maintained. When you are driving through and if your pressure is high, every bump on the road will be amplified directly into your bones. You can feel it. And what happens if the pressure is less? Your vehicle starts wobbling. Your vehicle starts moving in a funny way. There are many people who will keep driving it in spite of that wobbling nature. Especially on the freeways, when I see somebody's pressure really low and it's wobbling, I take the farthest lane from them. No chance, no risk. Because the vehicle is not under control. And what is the best smooth way to enjoy that ride? Only when the pressure is optimum as prescribed for that. So in order to maintain that balance, the one who is in that balance and also knows how to be in that balance is the one who gives this knowledge across. Yoga Vidam. Yogam Vindati, Vicharayanti, Jananti, Labhante Itiva Yoga Vidaha. He knows how to be in it, he knows how to stay in that balance, and he knows how to give that technique to everybody. And he has already given it in the form of our Vedic scriptures. Yoga Vidaha. Yogo Yoga Vidam. Neta. Neta, in today's world, we could translate it as a leader. There was this one young 6th, 7th grader, and we had a camp for a spiritual retreat for middle schoolers, and he was a live wire, and he had this amazing capacity to spin beautiful poetry in any circumstances, and his ordinary speaking was in poetry. We were talking about leadership qualities, and he comes out with this beautiful definition of neta, and his free easy flow was in Hindi, so he ended up saying नेता वो, आजकल के हमारे नेता वो जो प्लस लेता माइनस देता, आज के हमारे नेता. The word neta or the leader has been totally changed. It's almost equivalent to the political or politician, the one who knows how to squeeze the best out of every situation and make a lot of profit for himself or herself, but does not contribute positively. Here neta is very beautifully defined. Neta jnaninam yogakshema vahadinam yoga vidancha neta tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyaham iti bhagavat vachanat. Neta, the one who has the capacity to lead. Now, how should a leader be? A leader is the one who can inspire people around for a greater good. The one who can bring in that inspirational attitude in anybody who is around. Such one is called a leader, the first quality of it. And he is called a leader who leads by an example. As we put it in here, we say that the one who is not talk the talk, but walk the talk. I read a very beautiful statement. Don't be a sage on the stage, but be a guide on the side. Don't be a sage on a stage, but be a guide on the side. Somebody who is willing to inspire and guide by setting themselves as an example. Lead them by the example. Meaning you be in the forefront and lead them. In the olden days, the king was the Neta. And what was his or her responsibility as a leader? It was his responsibility to lead from the forefront. In today's world, the leaders stay in bunkers and send their people to fight for them. Now, if you have to lead that army, you have to lead it by being in the forefront and lead them by example. And also, yoga kshema vahanadi, be able to protect and also guide them for a higher state of existence. And that's a very beautiful aspect of a leader. If you lead them to an existential state wherein they are falling lower than what they are, then such one is not a leader. But you lead them to a position wherein they can enjoy both peace and happiness in a more substantial manner, in a more sustained manner. Such one is a leader who not just talks but leads, who not just leads but also protects the one who he is leading, and not just protects but also guides them to attain that peace and bliss which the one is enjoying himself, so that the entire group that he is leading, such one is called a leader. And Paramatma, he has created this creation, and everybody invariably, whatever walk of life, wherever we are positioned geographically, whatever we are doing in our life, aren't we searching for these two facets in our life? Irrespective of what we are doing, only two things that we are searching: peace within and sustained happiness. Or you see the question in another format. We have not put any effort consciously to be not happy, to be miserable. Have you ever put an effort consciously? I have been a sannyasi for 20 years. In these 20 years, I have yet to come across a person who can say, Swamiji, pray for me. Why? I am putting this, effort so that I can be miserable. No, we are there already effortlessly. We don't need to put an effort to be miserable. We have to put an effort to get out of miseries. So, yoga kshema. And the Lord says, Sarva dharman parityadya mam ekam sharanam vraja aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami masucha. He says that your yoga and kshema, both I will take care. Kshema to protect, yoga to procure. And the entire life we have been doing that very thing. In anticipation of happiness, we procure a lot of things. It will give us some temporary joy. Just so that that which we are enjoying at that moment is not snatched away from us. What do? We protect that which we own. Yoga to procure, kshema to secure. All the wealth that we have, where is it? In a true Texan way, it's in the bank. Why is it in the bank? The first time I came here 10 years ago, it was a new concept. When I saw people's wallet, they were very thin. So my question was, don't you carry cash? I said, no, it is not safe. So what do you carry? I carry plastic. So that was the first lesson that I learnt, that there is no paper, it's only plastic. So after a few days, I went to a grocery store, and lady at that counter, after she had checked all my things and billed, she looked at me, and I was still getting acquainted with the English and the speed with which it was spoken here, the accent being different coming from India. So she said, paper or plastic? So I said, come again. She said, paper or plastic? So I bought out, I have plastic because I was told plastic is otherwise the card. You call it plastic. And I said, paper also, I have currency also, cash. So she looked at me. A very loving lady at that counter. She said, are you new in this country, young man? I said, yes. What I meant by paper and plastic was that it was the bag that I have to put these things in. Is it paper or plastic? Most of us have just the plastic cards. Where is our money? It is in bank, in secured place. We want that security, kshema. And there are various methods and means that we employ so that we get what we are anticipating. Now here is the leader, the neta, the one who leads us with both promises. What are the promises? That I will deliver you from misery. Dukkha nivritti. What will it give? It will give you peace of mind. Aren't we searching for that? Peace of mind. And what is the second thing? I'll give you yoga. Yoga also means oneness. Today yoga has become a very inward, and we understand yoga as the mode of exercises. There is a deeper meaning to yoga. One of the methods is to find that oneness through these exercises. By exercises, one of the steps in it. So when we say yoga, yoga means oneness with that blissful nature, that immense satisfaction and happiness within. And not only that, he says that I will get you that, I'll make sure that you reach to that point, but also tell you how to protect yourself so that this yoga and kshema cannot be destroyed. The one who is happy, imagine how much productive that person can be in this world. How much more can be achieved when you are at peace? First things first, when you are at peace, you are not contributing to the existing negative vibrations or negative tendencies into the world. First benefit. The second benefit is the one who is at peace can alone give peace to others. Because we can give only that which we have. Can you give something which you don't own? That is why the scriptures say, Andhe naiva niyamana yathandhaha. Blind leading the blind. It will be a disaster. I myself am in search of peace. How can I give it to others? I myself am in search for happiness. How can I promise that happiness to others? Here when he is called Neta, he says that he promises to deliver both peace and happiness, and how to secure it so that you can be productive in your individual spaces. And that would be an amazing service to the entire humanity. Sometimes when people read that Hinduism talks about moksha, moksha meaning liberation, and then sometimes when I am on the interfaith platforms, that is the most selfish thing to do, because you are focusing only on yourself. Yeah, it's a one way to look at it. But the other way to look at it is, you can only give that what you have, and you can give maximum when you yourself are not in search of happiness because you are already happy. Then the question comes, if I am already happy, why would I work? Because today I am working only for happiness. If I am already happy, why would I put effort to work? For this question, I have a counter question. Have you ever seen somebody who is happy, who is in a remote corner sitting? What are you doing? Why are you like that? I am happy. Do you ever find anybody that way? Even that fleeting moments of joy that you have, that you come across, when you have the maximum moment of joy, what do? Don't you go out there and share your moment of happiness with everybody that you care for? Don't you celebrate? Now, such person who has this happiness already within, their every moment of expression would be a celebration in action. Because there is no hidden agenda that I am doing this so that I have to get something back from you or from the world. But this is done so that that happiness which I have, I want you also to share with it. Because not that I am going to lose it, I am going to gain more of happiness when I share that happiness with you. Such one who leads by example is called a Neta. Yoga vidam Neta. How can he do this? How can he lead? He says, Pradhana Purushaha. He is also called Pradhana Purusha. What does Pradhana Purusha mean? Pradhanam Prakritihi Maya. Pradhanam means, there are two other words that we recognize it by. Pradhanam means Prakriti. Prakriti, nature. Or Maya. Purushaha, Jivaha. The entire creation, last time also we saw this concept, the entire creation as seen in the Hindu scriptures is not that the world was created in stages. And whenever in Hinduism we talk about creation, it is not to prove the existence. And once we go into that loop, then we will be trying to ascertain. So when you say that this world was created, when was it created? There is another concept we will come across in few other shlokas. When comes into picture when it is with regards to time, kala. But the Lord is the one who has created time. The one who has created time, can he be timed? And both time and space are interchangeable. Don't we calculate space with respect to time? From here to Irving Mall. So how far is it? Oh, it will just take about 5 minutes. Though you are talking about space, but what are you representing, qualifying it with? With time. Time is again nothing but a interchanging variable of space. From moment 1 to moment 2, the movement, that which is calculated in, is time. So the entire creation is a modification of time and space. So that one who is created time, can he be timed? Can he be clocked? And probably, I don't know the reason, but probably, that is why the smallest accountable time that we have on our watch and everywhere, what is it called? A second. Because the first is the Lord who cannot be timed. After him came the time, therefore it is called second. And then it is the multiples of second. I mean, I may be playing with words here, but as I said, that is my way of defining second. The Lord is somebody who is beyond the creation. So when in Hindu scriptures we talk about creation, it is not to prove the creation, but it is to prove the essence of creation. And the essence of creation being the Lord himself. The first concept about creation. The second concept of creation is that the entire universe has not been created in sequence, but it is an expression of the Lord in various forms. Therefore, even if you take it as a hypothesis, hypothetically, if you take that the entire creation is expression of the Lord, then immediately our question is, then why do we see, if God is supposed to be divine and this world is his expression, we see both good and bad? How can God, who has expressed himself, can be both good and bad? And I can understand a concept wherein God is good, But I see bad also in this world. I see negativities also in this world. How can that be God? There, our Hindu scriptures, they talk about the goodness and badness is not in the world, but it is in the perception of the individual. In its absoluteness, is there anything that we can define as absolutely good or absolutely bad in our day-to-day interactions? Now, there is a lot of lobbying for guns against guns, right? It's a hot topic now because there have been a lot of shooting the innocent. Who was it who was shot in Arizona? Or there was a senator? Yeah. A senator was shot and there was no movement. After that, there was such rampant killing. There is a talk about for guns or against guns. My question is, when you look at it from the guns standpoint, is gun good or is gun bad? As an object, does it carry goodness or